Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Imperial Scholars Podcast. My name is Mitch, my co-host is Cabs, and in today's episode, Cabs, I already let you know what we're covering. It's a new subject, though, that I haven't let anyone else know about, and it's another thing that's just, we gotta deal with these guys. It's a race that has shown up a lot in prior narratives. We're finally covering something you wanted to deal with. We're covering the Beastmen.
Yes, Beastmen.
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 Beastmen. I am looking hella ripped. Beastmen.
Yeah, baby.
All right. I don't even know where to start with these dudes. The best way I can summarize these freaks is imagine the orcs, but take away everything that makes them fun. That's the Beastmen.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, these guys are chaos monstrosities, right? These guys are known as like the true children of chaos. Like a lot of people consider them. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, this faction is the children of chaos. But the Beastmen are usually the ones that are like the vile spawn.
The vile spawn. What do you mean by that?
Because these dudes are just a bunch of weirdo animals that have been morphed into humanoid hybrids, or it's humans that have been morphed into animal-human hybrids, vice versa. Like, it's just the amalgamation and the mutations of chaos brought on to basically all forms of living things, just creating these horrific monstrosities that basically just want to see the world burn.
Okay.
That's their whole
like,
shtick.
They're just like a ball of chaos, like literally.
Yeah, they
Pretty
are just the ultimate like chaos monster guys. That's all these guys are. And you know, I mean, I say that they have an amalgamation. It's sort of this weird thing where Games Workshop was like, we want to make an abomination species that just wants to destroy everything. But they do have like a general sort of design that we'll cover in a bit here. But generally, it is this thing of the narrative is that they can look like any weird amalgamation of monstrosities. And a lot of the books kind of read it that way, too, of just like one looks like a bat, one looks like a dog, one looks like some wolf deer hybrid thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I should get into these guys. So we already know about the origins of the Beastmen, right? Like the polar gates collapsed from the old ones back in the day, and all the chaos energies just sprouted across the world and turned all these weird men and animals into the abominations we know today.
Okay. Does it affect other races? Like, can an elf turn into a Beastman?
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. I think it's something that is pretty much exclusive to humans.
Yeah, it's just humans then, right?
Yeah,
no dark elves, no dwarves, no goblins, turn into beastmen.
No, like pint-sized, muscle-bound beastmen. I don't think so. No, like lean, gaunt, pretty boy beastmen. Nothing like that, I don't think.
Let's, because I'm a tall guy, right? I'm like 6'3". Would
you're
my
a bigger
Beastman counterpart be the same height? Or am I like getting bigger or am I getting smaller? Like, how does that work when I morph?
It's hard to say. I mean, like, you probably would be like, oh, let's like turn this guy into an Ungor, which is like one of the bigger dudes. A guy like me, more like petite of stature, we'll say, would be like, you know, it's just a lowly gore. He's just like a little satyr man.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it does take your previous size into effect then.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's the forces of chaos, so it can do whatever the fuck it feels like, right?
But, yeah, I guess at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it might just turn you into a chaos spawn as far as it's concerned. Doesn't matter. Who knows? But yeah, so these dudes just got warped and mutated, and just their bodies just got mangled to all senses, like the point of basically not being recognized. And now the Beastmen just operate entirely out of spite. That is their entire structure of their society, if you want to call it that loosely.
They just operate out of spite.
Yeah, they are hateful towards humanity specifically because humanity basically represents everything the Beastmen cannot be. The Beastmen have no empathy, they have no sympathy, they have no love in their heart. All they have is hatred for mankind because it's like, you guys just have all of these, gunpowder and everything in society. It's basically like, how do I even describe it? The Beastmen are extremely hateful and they're also extremely self-hating.
Oh, so they like hate themselves too.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the monsters, actually, it's like a piece of the lore that a lot of the monsters are so rabid and vile because they suffer so frequently and they're in so much pain all the time. They're so angry at their own form that they just lash out.
Well, they're like in pain. Like it's like hurts to be a Beastman.
Yeah. A lot of the Beastman monsters are just in horrific pain most hours of the day.
Oh,
because again, just
why is that? Just because of
mutations?
Sorry, is that just because of like the chaos energy and everything. What if you were like a normal like animal and then you got turned into a Beastman? Like, are you still feeling pain? Like how does that work?
Probably most hours of the day. Yeah, you're just like, this sucks. I hate my life, and I hate humans even more because they know nothing of my suffering. I'm gonna turn this dude into turn him into a symbol of chaos.
So what you're telling me, is the Beastmen are the ultimate victim guys.
Yeah, they're the ultimate victim mindset. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
no one knows my sorrow.
Like the woe is me type of dudes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually what I was
expecting.
I know. And these dudes, I mean, the Beastmen is a pretty disgusting group. Like I said, they're the orcs, but they're not fun. Like, orcs do what they do because they're like, yeah, let's scrap. We want a big fortin. And the Beastmen are just like, burn, raise, maul, maim, destroy it all in the name of the dark gods. That is our only salvation at this point.
I can say, that's what I was going to ask. The Beastmen's gods.
Yes.
Or do they worship certain chaos gods? Like what is their alignment? Like, what is their deal? They just seem like sad, edgy emo boys right now.
So the thing is that the Beastmen basically are like chaos undivided. That's their main shtick. But sometimes Beastmen do give in to a specific god. So there are Slangors, which are like actually like Beastmen that are devoted to Slanesh. Korngors, who are devoted to the blood god. Yeah, Zeets, what are they? Zeetskors, something like that. And I forget the Nurgle Pestigors. That's the one.
Okay, so they do like kind of maybe be like, yeah, I'm kind of into that chaos dude.
Sometimes they get like devoted enough that they'll select a specific god to just become obsessed with, and they'll get the mutations and the blessings of that god.
Oh, they do still like the other like Korn or like Nurgle or whatever is like, oh yes, my fellow Beastman, you can be one of my dudes.
Yeah, like the Slangors have big claw-like pincers, kind of like the greater demons of Slanesh, right? Like that's the mutation and the blessing that they receive.
I see.
Yeah, I think Zeetskors have like a weird attunement to magic.
Is there like Beastman Shaman? Is that a thing?
There are Beastmen Shaman, yeah, actually. That's kind of their main thing of being like, how do they have intelligence and how do they have leadership? Is that it's either they're led by the biggest, baddest, like, what is it even called? Basically a warlord, but it's called something specific. I think it's called like a Bray Lord or something like that. Or it's a shaman that's like, oh yeah, the dark gods are telling me that we should go and raise Middenheim or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that should bring us into like how actually Beastman society functions. Is I'm kind of curious, like in general. You said they're similar to the orcs, but I'm sure they're not like the exact same.
No.
So how does like the normal Beastman? Is it like a camp, village? Like, what do they live in?
Well, first I have to kind of cover that Beastmen do have like a caste system that they're structured around. So I'll go, I guess, like the lowliest to the mightiest, right? Air quotes, because it's kind of weird. Like the bigger you get as a Beastman, you kind of become more isolated from your fellow kin, actually.
Really? So it's like the opposite of the orcs in a way.
Yeah, actually, because, we'll start from the lowliest group, right? We got the first group we got are the Ungors. These are basically like satyr-looking dudes.
All right.
Ungors are basically just normal-looking dudes. They're pretty skinny. They just got like furry legs and really small horns on their heads. And that's one thing is that like the size of the horns on your head is kind of like the symbol of your grandiose, right? How much of a badass you are. So if you're a lowly Ungor, you're pretty much treated like orcs treat goblins. You're treated for labor. You're treated for food if the boss gets hungry, or if the other Ungors get hungry, because they might just cannibalize you.
Lovely.
Yeah, of course, as it always is. And they're also in charge of stuff like crafting, because, well, the big mean Ungors can't be, or the Gors can't be bothered with that stuff. It's like, well, I need to kill and murder everything. You make my armor, make some, make some bows and arrows, and we'll just like have you guys shoot them from the distance like the lowly creatures you are. And you might think like, oh, these guys are the lowliest of all, so they might be like the most humanoid of the bunch, like emotionally. They hate humans most of all, so generally if like a human is taken in as like a POW of the Beastmen, they're just given to the Ungors, and the Ungors basically just torture them to death because they're spiteful, petty pricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And generally these guys, like, they're, as far as food is concerned, they're lucky to be if they don't get eaten by other Ungors or Gors, and they're also lucky, like, they have to literally fight with the hounds, like warhounds, over the scraps of food.
Oh, these guys have it rough, pretty much.
These guys got nothing. This is like Skaven slave level, like, sucky life, bro. Okay. Yeah, everything about this sucks. Yeah. Next up, we got the Gors. The Gors are basically a slightly better version. They're quite a bit beefier, quite a bit bigger. I mean, Beastman society is just about survival of the strongest, right? So these dudes are your standard warriors, I guess I'll say. Whereas, like, Ungors are literally treated as, like, meat shields.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So an Ungor is like an archer or whatever, like the squishy boys, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they're either like be archers in the back, or like we're gonna send you forward with some pikes to go and like distract this unit of cavalry while we fight the Bretonni. Something like that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so they're just expendable.
Yeah, pretty much. Life as a Ungor is just, it sucks. It's just the worst. What else we got? We got Ungors, and next up we had Gors, which is basically just the slightly bigger version. These dudes basically just look kind of like Minotaurs. Although there are actual Minotaurs, which we'll cover, but these are kind of like, These dudes are kind of like, I don't know, like they're larger, they're bulkier, they're meaner. They're just the standard attack force.
Yeah.
We also have Bestigors, which is basically just the bigger version. Literally no difference. They look like big ass goat men, and they're just, the elite of Gors.
All right.
There's also the Centaurs. These dudes are basically centaur beastmen. So they got like 4 legs to like run around at like rapid speed and just like harass the enemy and just run away.
The cavalry, pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much the closest thing you're going to get to beastmen cavalry. I did note that they do have like warhounds, like chaos warhounds that generally just like they just train to just walk around with them and just, harass archers and stuff like this. And then from here, we basically go on to a whole new group of species, because the next biggest guy that we got is the Minotaur. And the Minotaur is like twice the size of the biggest Bestigor. Like, they're enormous.
So where do these Minotaurs come from?
Yeah, Minotaurs actually, like, the thing is that Beastmen often, they don't go to war per se. They're generally just like raiders, right? It's like, oh, look, a small party for me to just and then just raise it and run away. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But but if there's a big group, like a giant force that could actually take on like a war party, like sometimes Minotaurs will approach out of the deepest, darkest woods, and they're pretty aloof to other beastmen. They have an endless like bloodlust and hunger that can never be satiated. And they also generally, it's believed that they're the guardians of Chaos Champion, like the tombs of Chaos Champions. But that's just like a rumor. Really? No one really knows.
Okay, and why would they be the guardians of Chaos Champ? Like the tombs? Why?
Maybe they just have some alignment to the chaos gods that the other beastmen don't have. Like, who knows? Again, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a society, air quotes society, that's based on like speculation.
Mm-hmm.
So being like, oh yes, like this is, or like paranoia almost, just being like, yeah, this is the chosen of like the Beastmen or the Minotaurs that go and like guard the tombs of champions of chaos. No one knows why. It's just a theory, but it's the best theory we have. And then if a big Bray Lord like manages to gather the group, then they'll just charge to war.
Okay.
Beyond that, we have the next group, which would be, I guess, it's what happens if a Minotaur gets large enough. This is referred to as a Gorgon. And Gorgons have... Gorgons, you might want to look this guy up, actually, like the Warhammer Gorgon. Yeah, give it a gander.
Let's see what this Gorgon looks like. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What the heck is this thing, dude?
So you know how orcs just get bigger and bigger? Same thing apparently applies to Minotaurs, where if they just live long enough, they kill enough, and they're blessed enough by the god, they shoot up to like 50 feet tall and grow 4 arms.
Yo, that's kind of cool, actually.
They're pretty mean, they're pretty nasty, and these things just like wander around the deep dark woods just slaughtering everything.
Dang, okay.
There's also another version you should look up called the Cygor. Cygor. Once you see it, you'll understand its name.
Cygor. Yeah, these are cool too.
And you see that big ass rock on his shoulder?
Yeah, these are massive, dude.
They are monstrous. They're enormous. They generally act as the artillery, actually, because they just take those big ass rocks, they just throw them, just yeet them across the battlefield.
Dang.
And these dudes have the weirdest lore of all, because apparently that one eye does not see things in terms of the material realm. Apparently they are cursed to always see basically the ever-fluctuating forces of chaos. So they're completely blind to the material world, and they just wander forward, crushing through trees and stuff. And that big-ass rock that he's got with them... They just, apparently I think it's like a rune stone of like chaos that they just take these things and just yeet them at full force.
That's awesome, actually. That's kind of cool. I like that lore.
But these guys, I mean, that's a pretty crappy life as well, right? Like that's pretty no bueno.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's pretty
that
cruddy.
Sounds awful. They're just vibing out, just getting tormented the whole time, just chucking rocks everywhere. That's amazing.
Just being like, all right. Time to just blast them. The other group that we got, basically we're done with the Minotaurs and like the Gores and stuff like that. We move on to like the more monstrous aspects of the Beastmen. Like I said, they got Chaos Warhounds. They're just basically just dogs with spikes and stuff out of them. Mm. There's something, I think it's called the Razor Gore, if I'm not mistaken. It's
a Razor Gore.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, wow. What is this?
Yeah, they're kind of like giant demon warthogs.
Pretty much.
But they generally just have these guys just like at like leading chariots that they just like, get in there, guys. And just Pumbaa here is just mauling through your boys, just wrecking havoc.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So much fun. Can't wait to see that coming at me at Mach 10 speed on the battlefield.
How large is like the typical like Beastman like army? Like, is there like a lot of them? Like, are they able to band together like quite a bit, or?
No, and that's usually the thing that like keeps it away is the fact that, you know, Beastman society is built on survival of the strongest. So I guess I should get into this, Lord. If a warlord or like a, you know, big mean dude decides, okay, I want to take your group. I want us to combine forces and I should be the leader. Well, as in typical just chaos fashion, it's like, all right, we're going to fight for it and see who's the winner. And then from there, they have this weird ritual where basically the winner, kills his opponent. The body is just fed to the beastmen of the prior boss. But the heart is kept for the champion to consume, believing that like he will gain the strength of his slain foe.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, that's kind of the thing, is just like, yeah, the Beastmen are just busy trying to survive, and basically just there's no coordination amongst them, similar to orcs, that it's like, it's often they don't come out in giant droves, but when they do, oh boy, it's like a wog, bro.
Like a wog.
It's like a big ass wog, dude. Just like as far as the horizon line goes, where it's just like, oh look, like 15 Cygors, 30 Minotaurs. Can't wait for this. Yeah,
that sounds awful, dude.
It's pretty sucky. Like back in the day, that was the thing, was that like the Beastmen were the prominent force before the age of the Empire, when like all of humanity was living in the woods and just trying to survive, right?
Yeah.
And that's one reason that they got really spiteful and angry, being like, well, we're supposed to be the dominant force of all time, right? Like we're supposed to be the alpha predators, not the humans.
Yeah. We're the big guys, not you.
Yeah, and they're basically just petty, because it's like, no, humans are able to just survive because they're able to coexist long enough, and it's like, this is bullshit. They're cheating. It's like, yeah, okay, sure thing, bud. But yeah, it is just like, if a dude is big enough, mean enough, he will lead a Beastman horde, the likes of which is rarely seen, and declare war on the known world. Just try to burn it all down.
Okay. So yeah, they're just so angry. So it's kind of like the orcs, I guess, right? Like if you're just that good of a warlord, you can just like soak up everyone then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, everyone just gathers around your banner because you're just the meanest and the baddest and the best, and that's all there is to it. Even like as far as legendary characters, like the Beastmen lords are concerned, it's like there's like only one of them has real lore. The others are basically they're just that big and mean.
Okay. So it's just like, oh yes, that is just a strong warrior.
That is big boy number 2. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so who's this named character then?
Well, there's a few. Like the one that comes to my mind is a guy by the name of Morgur, who's actually not even a Beastman, really. Oh, I should have brought that point up, actually. Generally, Beastmen as well. Like, so in the Empire, mutation is not too liked, right? Like, if your child comes out deformed, it's like they do the Grimm's fairy tale thing of like, let's just bring this thing out to the woods and leave it for the wolves, right?
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. But sometimes the wolves don't actually catch it, and the Beastmen will. How do you think this plays out? Yeah.
Oh, I would assume that they eat the child.
Sometimes that is absolutely the thing that happens. Other times they actually just adopt this kid, being like, this is a sign of the gods. Look at this.
Serious?
Look at this weird looking baby. It's kind of like the Primarchs from 40K, where it's like, this is a chosen child. Look how this amazing child, this demigod, and the Beastmen are like, oh look, it's ugly like me. Let's take it in.
That's actually kind of wholesome, actually. You know what? That's wholesome. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wholesome until you realize that they're training it to be other Beastmen to just like murder everything. And it's still a thing of like, the kid has to be strong enough to survive living in Beastmen society.
True, but you would think that they would just eat the thing. Like the fact that they should just take it in is kind of funny.
Yeah, the fact that ever happens at any point, that it's not just, oh look, barbecue, is surprising to me. Yeah. But so in one of these situations, one of these kids was taken in, and this kid was Morgur, who was just horribly deformed just from chaos amalgamations, right? And Morgur grew up as a beastman. He was raised as a beastman. He came to hate the known world. And with his like weird mutations, like everything around him would mutate as well. He basically was just a giant siphon for chaos energy to just, change the world around him. But he's also like Lucius the Eternal in the sense that he is pretty much immortal. He operates more like a demon, actually, where it's like if he dies, he just reemerges abruptly like 3 weeks later. and where his blood spilt is like where he's resurrected, and the land around him just like it becomes just warped with decay.
How does that work? Like, and why does that happen?
I don't know, because that's such a busted ability.
Yeah.
I mean, like Slaanesh in 40K can do a similar thing with one of the prime or one of his Astartes, but yeah, it seems way too broken.
Yeah, right. This guy just can't die.
He just can't die. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he dies incessantly, but and then comes back every now and then, and yeah, it's just like, okay, Morgur's back. Don't worry about it. And like I said, this is like the most interesting Beastmen character I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's a few others. Like maybe we'll cover them in the future of like Kazrak, One Eye, and Malagor. There's another one called Torox, which is hilarious because this is like a Minotaur that basically just went on such a slaughter that Khorne was like, I'm gonna send a Khornate priest to go and talk to this Minotaur and be like, good on you, buddy. I'm proud of you. But the Minotaur just saw the dude. Priest? He got super pissed off and he just ate the priest. And then Khorne was like, hey, don't do that to my boy. So the Chaos Gods gifted him with basically being like, because he ate the priest, he went on a rampage that lasted for 3 days before he just collapsed from exhaustion. But this Beastman was basically blessed to have like indestructible skin, except for a small area under his neck that if shot out would just be an instant kill.
Interesting.
Khorne was petty and angry.
That's kind of funny, actually.
It's pretty great.
Very unlike Khorne, but very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this was like a devoted dude of Khorne that was like, how dare you? Don't go killing my priest, damn it. I need those. They're rare enough as they are. I need to get
more people. Yeah, I need more people to convert.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly. Who aren't just like looking to kill more people. I need people who can actually convert to me, damn it.
That's funny.
And that's like the entire lore of Torox. Like that's all I've got for you. So yeah, like the Beastmen, it was weird for me to make an episode about this because they're very limited with their lore. It's just a bunch of weirdos living out in the woods. They create these things called Horde stones, which are basically just these giant totems that kind of look like they kind of just look like cow skulls. They've like carved these rocks that look like cow skulls, and they're like giant totems of the Chaos Gods. It's like, oh, we'll sacrifice humans on these things, and random like cracks in the earth will like fissures will just erupt with hellfire, and it'll be a grand old time, and we'll just spend the night doing this and just murdering and torturing people. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what these guys do, man. That's just murder, raise, burn.
That's it. There's nothing else.
That's it. And I mean, it's just they operate completely out of spite and hatred for the human realms because it's like you guys are able to cooperate and become the alpha species, and we're jealous. You guys suck.
Are they like a nomadic type of thing, or do they like make like little like herding villages or whatever?
No, they are pretty much nomadic, where it's like they'll set up camp around like herd stones, and then like from there they'll just they'll just raise a place. They'll go and like attack a small village or something, raise it to the ground, kill everything, put a herd stone there, and then being like, this is our camp for the time being. This is our nesting ground.
And then they just move on.
Yeah, and then they just move on to the next place that they can just raise and turn into a new herd stone. And just devote to the gods.
So they just raise and plop these totems everywhere, pretty much.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the entire lore of the Beastmen. And that's why I was like, you were asking, it's like, let's cover these dudes. They seem interesting. No, they might be the most like they're the most chaosy chaos facts, and that might be why, in my opinion, they might be the most boring lore wise.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about them. They sound cool.
They're okay. Look cool. Yeah, they look cool. They're cool. Exactly what you imagine. It's just like it's you know what it is? It's the classic like here's the big monster that just wants to destroy stuff. There's nothing much deeper than that.
Fair. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, the orcs are like football hooligan, oog, kaboog. Like we still want the good fight. We're gonna keep worthy opponents alive because I want to fight them again later. The Beastmen could care less. The Beastmen are just looking to fight and murder. Although there is
what
one.
Are like the?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry,
go ahead.
on. No, you go. You go.
Oh, there is one dude by the name of Kazrak One Eye. You want to guess this dude's whole shtick?
He's got one eye.
He got one eye because he went and fought a dude by the name of Boris Toddbringer. And then he got his eye got gouged out. And because he's a spiteful, petty prick, he fought Boris Toddbringer again. And he took his eye in vengeance. And now they have a rivalry going on.
And they both have one eyes.
Yeah, they both have one eye. Boris will never forgive Kazrak for that. And now they just look to just kill each other.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's the entirety of the lore there. So you had a question for me.
Yeah, so what's their like territory? Like how far like do they go like as far east like Bug like Cathay? Or like how like what is their territory in the old world?
Yeah, I think they span pretty much everywhere, to be honest. There's not a lot of places, much like the Skaven, there's not a lot of places that I think are immune to Beastmen. Maybe Ulthuan? I'm not sure. Wouldn't surprise me. But everywhere else, like basically you can be guaranteed that you can find Beastmen in like, you know, all the way out in like the frozen wastes of Norsca, being like, oh great, I don't have enough to fucking worry about.
And there's just some Beastmen over here.
I got this goddamn bovine who wants to turn me and my family into dinner.
Oh man. How do they reproduce? I don't know if I want to know this, but how do Beastmen reproduce?
Yeah, you don't want to know this, but I will say this.
But I'm going to find out.
I think, fortunately, I'll put it this way. This pretty much answers your question. I think, fortunately, it was retconned.
It was retconned?
Retconned, yes.
Really?
Yes. Now, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Have you read Berserk?
Yeah.
There you go. That's how. That's how. So generally, go ahead. No, take it in. Take it all in.
I'm thinking of the horse in Berserk. If that's where you're going at.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's exactly where I'm going with this. Yep. So I think this was retcon. There used to be the lore that it used to be that like it was based on the ancient Greek legends of actual satyrs, and that satyrs would go after young lasses according to the folklore because they were like depraved, like lustful creatures. They were like, what if we did that and did it for a bunch of beastmen, and that was their faction's way of reproducing, was that they took hostages after their attacks. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and then just
But
how does like a normal human produce a beastman? That doesn't make sense.
I looked again. There's a reason I think it was retconned. Because it's done in the same. There's a 40K thing that's infamous called the Demon Kulaba. It's done in the same sort of energy as that, where it was like, guys, I think we dropped the ball here. Let's retcon this. So now it is just a thing of there are female beastmen called. I think that sometimes they're referred to as beast women, or like Bray mothers or something like that.
All right.
So yeah, they went from being way too much for people to handle to just make it milquetoast and basic. And frankly, I'm all here for that.
Yeah, I think I like the basic option better. That just makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense, and it makes me vastly less uncomfortable thinking about it.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Unless you're into some bestiality or something. I don't know.
Listen, I know there's plenty of stuff on Rule 34 on 4chan. It will provide you with whatever you need, but don't be coming into the lore with that shit. I don't need that in my life. All right.
I completely agree. We don't want that.
We don't want that. All right. Keep that to yourself, you Slanessi degens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, that is the basis of how beastmen reproduce. Is it's either just beast women and just, big bad ooga booga, just being like popping out as many little bovine calf men as you can. Or it's that they literally just find mutated children in the kid and are like, well, we got two options: barbecue or adopt.
All right.
That's it. That's pretty much everything as far as the Beastman is concerned. And as far as like how they operate, yeah, I mean, from there, it is just this thing of like these dudes just go about burning all that they can, raising all they can. They hate other beastmen. They hate humans equally as much. And they basically just worship chaos because it's their natural instinct. And really at this point, it's the only option given how crappy your life is.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they literally are like chaos themselves in a way. Like they just want the world to burn. So I guess it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just chaos mutation manifested, basically. Well, some of these kids are.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess there's not really much else to do with like a faction like this in a way.
No. And I mean, even by the standards of, I mean, one thing I guess I can point out is like their relation to other chaos factions. Because even amongst other chaos.
I'm curious how that works.
Yeah, even by the standards of other chaos factions, like they generally are not going to be cooperating. The Beastmen are generally just isolated from, like, say, Archeon and like his mortal followers, or like the Skaven. It's not like they're coexisting very well. But if a big enough mass of, say, Norskins is just, this is in one of the books I'm reading actually, like a giant horde of Norskins are like, yes, now is when we burn the Empire and, just send it into anarchy. And the Beastmen are just basically just riding their tailcoats. They're like, this is a big enough battle. This looks like a big enough assembly of chaos worshipping lunatics that it's like all of a sudden, like from the deep woods, it's just, it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, and they'll like join in then.
Yeah, and they join in on this and they don't say anything. It literally is just all of these cowmen just joining your forces and just helping you to raise the empire.
They're like the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Honest to God, instead of a war horn, it's just some. It's like, oh shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, they literally do charge into battle like the Rohirrim of just being like, just charge forward, guys. Like, we don't have like they don't have anything else. It's literally just big angry dudes that want to get into melee combat. It's like the Ungors are going to be in the back, kind of like using bows and arrows. But by and large, it's like we've got a bunch of 7-foot tall goat men. They're just going to spear you. They're just going to gore you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
Who do they like typically fight, I guess?
Oh, actually, that's a good question. Because generally the common foe that they have is, well, the Empire, right? I've kind of said this a few times. But they have a rivalry with another faction that we haven't, I'll give you a hint, we haven't covered them. And like Beastmen basically spend all their time like just thrashing and destroying the forests like the orcs, right?
Oh, it's probably the Wood Elves.
Ding, ding, ding. There you go. You are right on the money. The Wood Elves absolutely loathe the Beastmen because it's like, well, I mean, it's just like, you're just tending to your garden and some dude just like walks on your flower petals. He just walks through the flower bed. Be like, I'm going to shank you. I'm going to shiv you. You piece of garbage. How dare you? Get the hell off my property.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, they've had a long lasting rivalry with the Wood Elves. And I mean, I feel like you can imagine how that goes. Like because the thing is too is that the Wood Elves also have the benefit of having a magical forest to aid them. It just sucks though when you're fighting like 15-foot tall Gorgons. I also haven't
destroy all the trees and everything.
Yeah, that's all they want to do, man. It's not like they have any reason for doing it. They just like, I hate this tree. And it's just like, all right, cool. Thanks for that, bud. One thing I should have you look up real quick. There's a handful. They have a weird thing. I forget the name of it. It's like a wyvern with the head of a deer. It kind of looks like a jackalope kind of wyvern deal thing. Mm-hmm. But the one that comes to my mind that I can point you towards is something called the Jabberslythes. I would have you look that thing up real quick. It's nothing like what you would imagine.
Oh, what is this thing? This almost looks like a demon, dude.
I know, this thing is it's grody. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, this is just another weird monstrosity of the Beastmen. I don't know if it's like, I think they kind of just like bully this thing into their ranks and just use it as like a shock unit monster. Because I mean, well, look at it.
Straight up monster.
Yeah,
this is almost looks like a Belrog or something.
Yeah, it's a Belrog, like it's a Belrog that like just Walmart can't Belrog. Function. Yeah, this is we got Balrogs at home. Don't worry, and this is what you get.
There you go. Yeah, like, that's pretty much what this is.
Like this thing's life sucks too, because I think it literally is like you see the wings and everything. You see it's its build. This thing can't fly. Like, look at the size of the wings.
Yeah.
It can hover for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then it's like back down on the ground, and it's just lashing about, just trying to murder everything.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, this is the kind of things that these guys like have just like wandering around, as being like, yep, this is just bully this thing onto the front lines and have it just like murder everything, because it's gonna kill things regardless. We might as well have it just like killing the humans we're fighting to kill. And also one thing that's, in case Beastmen society wasn't crappy enough, sometimes the Beastmen can also just randomly turn into chaos spawn.
Really?
Yeah, they can also just be like, just Zechian just turns you into a absolute blabbering monstrosity, and your entire life is just misery and pain and just endless opposable digits of non-functioning.
So why would they randomly just turn into chaos spawn?
Because Zeets thought it was funny.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude, just you mess with chaos, you're messing with things you don't understand, and sometimes you just transform for no apparent reason. No, I mean, because it's a thing of like, oh, you could maybe turn into like, you know, it might be a thing of like, oh, you're a Minotaur that might turn into you might get big enough and turn into a Gorgon. Or it's like, or you might just turn into a goddamn mess of flesh and misery.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. There's no saving grace for the Beastmen, bro. Everything about this life sucks. Even being the biggest and the baddest, like the thing is that everyone is like looking to take your head and be the new like leader of the war host, I don't even remember what the name is, the Cow Squad, and you know, like now you got to watch out for that all the time and just be angry 24/7.
Oh man, and then you can just turn into a chaos spawn too.
Yeah, then maybe it just be like, I devote this to the gods, and then the gods are like, yeah, funny.
You're just a blabbering like piece of flesh.
Yeah, it's like, what happened to the boss? Oh, he turned into a blabbering skin tag. Great.
Oh, that's amazing.
There's also like, I mean, one thing is that I don't know how, I think Beastmen also have giants, but I don't know the lore of these giants, because they also seem to go through like weird chaos mutations.
They have giants?
Yeah, like there's giants in greenskins. Pretty much most factions actually have like giants. Like greenskins, ogres, and beastmen and chaos have giants. But yeah, like I don't know what the lore of these giants are. If they're like actual giants similar to the ones the orcs have as like a war host, or if these dudes are just grown to ridiculous proportions, God only knows.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like it could be like just like the same kind of like giants in quotation that everyone has. Like they're not be like a specialty beastman.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's chaos, dude. It can do whatever it damn well feels like.
Yeah, they're chaos undivided. So like in theory, anyone can technically join up with these dudes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot to mention, another thing I saw in the book I'm reading now. Apparently, beastmen can turn other people into beastmen. Like, shamans can do this.
I was wondering, Ashley. I was going to actually ask you that.
Yeah, apparently shamans are literally just able to be like, man, our squad is looking kind of thin. And then meanwhile, like, the back line just turn into a bunch of gores and then just start murdering everything.
You know, that's what they should have done, actually. Like for
What?
the reproducing.
Oh,
No, they
yeah.
should have done that. Like they capture people and then they just like turn you into a Beastman. I think that would have been way cooler.
It would have, yes. I mean, and that's the thing too. That's the weird thing though, is that like they can do this. Instead, they would do like sacrifices to the gods and like sacrifice you on the Horde stone or the Bray stone or whatever. Meanwhile, it's like they have the opportunity to turn this dude into a Minotaur or whatever, right? Or even just a freaking chaos spawn.
Yeah, like something, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, what it should be is like well, I guess you wouldn't want to turn them into a Minotaurs. That doesn't make sense, right? Because you don't want like someone to take you over.
Yes.
But what would be cool? It'd be like they don't know what the mutation would be, right? So like every time they turn like this random dude into a Beastman, you don't know. Like he could turn into a Minotaur, or he could just be like a stupid chaos spawn. But they have to do it to replace their like units. I think that would have been really cool if Games Workshop did that.
It really feels like they just dropped the ball and they were like, we don't know what to add here. Like, we don't know how to, we don't know how to have this race reproduce. And they went through basically every option from the most vanilla to the most dear God, no option. And it's just like, they were like, at the end of the day, they were like, fuck it, it's all canon.
Yeah, no, see, oh man, I feel like that would be so cool. There's like imagine like your village just got raided and then they just like capture you and then living life as a Beastman sucks. And then they're just gonna they're either gonna sacrifice you, so you're gonna die, or B, they're gonna transform you and you're most likely gonna die.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like the transformation. Well, like I said, the transformation's not willingly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like they just imbue you with chaos, and they don't even want to do it themselves, but they have to do it, because they got to replenish their units.
Well, they're already
their society.
Yeah, I'm like, I would feel like it makes more sense for them to do that rather than being like, let's raise this kid like Mowgli and teach him the ways of the gods, and it's like, okay, sure. Versus like the instant version of just transform him. Bloop.
Yeah, no, dude, that would be way cooler. And actually, like, you could even like go into that. You could even like have like you know how you're like Beastmen just hate other races because they're jealous.
Yeah.
Well, what if their goal was to just transform everyone into Beastmen?
Oh yeah.
Instead of just like raising everyone, just like, oh yeah, so let's just we'll kill anyone that like comes in our way. But then like our main goal is just to turn the whole world into like a world of Beastmen.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because it's either like turn them into Beastmen or just burn it down.
Yeah, I think that would. Oh man, dude. Yeah, they definitely dropped the ball at these guys. Unfortunately, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, they're the most like vile group in my opinion, because they're not like. I don't know. It's just the idea of being like, it's not like the Druki who get like sadistic pleasure out of this stuff. It's literally just like we function off of hatred 24/7 for everything.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be cool like if they had like another motive, because you kind of already like have this already with like the northern men, right?
Oh yeah, like the Norskins are just like, we like the gods. This is what we do. This is just our way of life. We just raise everything. Like, you already have that kind of already in this world. Yeah,
right? I don't know.
Like
as a race itself, like the Beastmen are very unique, like in a fantasy setting. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, it does feel the most just like we need a monster group. All right, send these guys in.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a damn shame, but they're cool for what they are, which is
they still are cool. I do like them. I do like the Beastmen. I think they're pretty cool.
Bovine monstrosities.
I think they're really cool, but I think Beastmen should have like a different motive. Like I think that like Games Workshop should have went with like the I want to transform everyone into Beastmen kind of thing.
I feel like with Age of Sigmar now a thing, it's like they can do that. It's like, let's get a retcon on that, people. Let's get a retcon of like the Beastmen like scouring the different realms.
Yeah, like, that'd be cool, man.
Oh yeah, that could be so much cooler. I mean, like, what's the motive there?
I I wonder what everyone listening thinks. We'll see if they agree with me.
Yeah, actually, please do comment being like, if you think the Beastmen, or if I'm just not giving enough credit to the Beastmen, I'm trying to be fair here to recognize them for what they are. I do think that there's just like, there needs to be a bit more. There needs to be a bit more spice here.
Yeah, and he's a little, like we got the salt and pepper. We need the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Give me that Cajun spice.
Yeah, that's what we need.
So, yeah, I mean, that is basically the Beastmen, that as best as I can cover them, very abridged. I really don't have anything else. Do you have any questions for these guys? Like, any more questions?
Not really. I think you kind of answered everything. I guess the one final question before we go: do these guys trade at all? Like, do they even care about like gold or money or anything?
Oh, no, not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, like, I guess they got a barter to try to get like other like Beastmen to fight with them. Maybe sometimes, I don't know, but yeah, by and large, it's just they couldn't be bothered with that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so then I guess yeah, they really are just raiding and plundering.
Like, even in the game, like Total War, dude, like they were a really hated faction for a while there because they were referred to as a Horde faction. And the Hordes, basically, they didn't establish settlements or anything. It was literally just like one army that if you fought enough, if you won enough, you could basically spawn another army and basically just start trying to flood the world. But, you had to attack settlements incessantly, and you had like your economy was just based on like raising.
That sounds not fun.
It was not fun. They were an extremely hated faction for quite a while there until they finally got a complete remastering, basically, because they needed it. And now people like playing as them. But yeah, they don't. Even in the game, man, you don't have settlements. You like create Braystones, and you basically create giant cursed wastelands where chaos energy just manifests. And that, I guess, is like the main thing with like why the Empire and everyone else hates them, being like, oh, we'd love to scour the deep dark forest of Beastmen because they're just creating goddamn chaos monstrosities and just spells and stuff like this, anomalies.
All right.
But obviously, like most things in Warhammer, it's like that's not happening.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, to kind of answer that question, I guess do you have anything else you need to ask?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
They just love raiding.
Yeah, they just love raiding. I feel kind of bad because you were excited for these dudes, and I'm like, I don't have much for you.
I was excited because they look cool.
Yeah, they do look cool. They're fun to play because charge forward, fast, hard-hitting boys. They got magic and stuff. But as far as the lore is concerned, pretty basic. Pretty just like big mean monster. We don't like.
Yeah, they're my mocha latte from Starbucks.
Yep. And it's just got like no cream, nothing. No milk, nothing.
My black coffee, Ashley. They're my straight black coffee.
This is black coffee. You know exactly what you're getting with these dudes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Well, with that said, I guess I'll take us home then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Please do consider leaving a comment, letting me know if I'm bad at my job, if I'm wrong, if I'm stupid, if there's something I'm missing, or if you agree and you think like we need to spice up the Beastmen a bit more. I think they did get a bit more spiced up in Age of Sigmar, but that's its own thing completely. And please do consider becoming a subscriber if you're not already. Leave a like. It all helps the channel just to know how we're doing. And we will see you in the next episode. Until then, take care.
Yeah, bye now.